Hello. I don't know why I'm recording a video, but like I have a hard time. I mean, I can write, but I can't. The time it takes for me to write, in that time I will lose thoughts, if that makes sense. And so I'm got to hear myself talk. That's just how I do better. So my name is Liam, and I struggle just like everybody else does. But I'm at the level of struggle where other people recognize it too, and I get called out for it a lot. I've had all my life, and that means that I am recognized. And if I'm recognized, it means I stand out. And whether the manner of this is positive or negative, it doesn't actually, but it means that it's a different level because it's recognized. I know how I am, and I'm a bit backwards. It seems like I don't work my way up the pyramid, it's like down it, and I mean, there's so many labels on things. Like when I was like 10 or 10 to 13, it was 13 years old, I was diagnosed with, that's when I was officially by a doctor diagnosed with ADHD and started taking a certain medication. And when you're 13, your brain is still like in such early development, and to become dependent on a certain drug to develop, and then to stop taking it it's difficult, but I'm glad I stopped taking it. As soon as I graduated high school, I stopped. And I mean, I have to remember that those factors are in play, but I'm looking back at it all, which is how I do. I can see, I'll get into that later, but I'm starting to think that I'm dyslexic. I don't know for sure because I'm not a professional, but I researched the F out of everything, and I'm gonna go see a psychiatrist about it too, because but that's hard because that's one opinion too. But I've been struggling a lot. You know, I drop. I can't. Say I go into work and I know I got to do something, and I need to get that result, and it takes me like a good 15 minutes just to get into that mode. But since I'm in like retail business, as soon as I get into that 15 minutes and I'm in the zone, I can do it because I just go bam, bam, bam. I got it in my brain by then. I figured it out. I get called up to back up as a cashier or something, and then I'm like pulled away from what I was doing, and then I'm like, crap. And so I go, as a cashier back up. I'm very good with words. I'm good with empathy. So I'm personalizing because I think about everyone else rather than me. And then as soon as like the line is done and with the registers and stuff, I have to go back to what I was doing, and then I'll just start doing something way different than what I started with, and then I'm confused, and I'm like, wait, and then if I even do remember what I was doing, it takes me 15 minutes again to get back into what I was doing, and then they call me to back up again, and I'm like, I'm not getting anywhere, guys. I need to focus, and you guys tell me this, and I'm trying to, but you guys won't let me, and then you're mad at me because I can't just hop on what I was doing right after. I mean, the best job I've ever had was serving. I mean, I get to be scattered and get paid for it, and in tips and stuff, so it's fun, and I'm good at it, and But there they want me to like focus on one thing. If they need me to do this and go back to what you're doing, I'm like, I can't. I mean, I can. I know I have the capacity to. I have to remember. I mean, I remember things, but it's hard to describe because um, I have so much in my brain at once. And I heard something about like, if you look at like dyslexia, it's like long distance calling. It's like you have this extra length in wiring in your brain, that the stuff that makes up your brain, the pathways. So you have extra length, which means you have to use more energy to just try to keep up. And then, but it takes more time. You have the same amount of intelligence, but it just to see the result or everyone else's desire of the result takes more time. But that also strengthens us because we have to use this much energy just to get the result faster or try to as fast as we can. So when we have something where we can take our time on, it's like amazing. Just because we try to keep up so much. It's like conditioning of our neural pathways. Sorry. um, and maybe I do have ADHD. I'm not a professional, and one professional is just one professional. It doesn't really matter. I mean, it's just everybody has a different way of thinking. But it has well, I don't think it's stopped me in my life. It actually has helped me a lot. But everybody else thinks that it stopped me, and then that's when a problem stands out. Like if you look at autism, it's the opposite. It's like a different type of spectrum. And when I say spectrum, I mean that anyone could put themselves in it. There's just a certain level of that's accepted as not being recognized, and that another level to where it's just more of a challenge for the individual or for others to accept. And autism is like they have shorter, it's like long distance calling, but the opposite, like short, like no matter how far the call is, they can make it happen just like that, and it makes them intelligent too. It's kind of more of an advantage, not so much like a disorder, or it may be disordered, but it's more like um it can seem like a problem just because it's odd, and that's not the person with the diagnosis. It's not their fault. It's everyone else's judgment on it. And honestly, to get rid of I mean, it's not gonna. I could. Okay, I just. Okay, so like, I am really just trying to figure out what is going on with me, and I have such a difficult time. And honestly, ever since I found out that dyslexia isn't just about moving letters, because I don't see letters move. I but I have the capacity to read if they were to, because I've like looked up simulations on what it's like for people to look at words with letters like moving around or just flopped or whatever. I can still figure out the word, and feel like if people are able to read sentences with moving letters, that means they're dyslexic too, because it means they learned how to backtrack. If that makes sense, because like seeing that result and then figuring it out from there, like it's like we see what we need to do, we see what's going to happen, but we just don't know how it got there or what to do right away, and then we are able to figure it out. And that's what I feel dyslexia is. It's like investigators, certain cops, there's like a lot. I mean, it's just a certain way of thinking. That's all it is. And in my Myers-Briggs, I'm also an INFP, and I'm intuitive, I'm a feeler, so I had to depend on my memory a lot in order to survive, because I see the patterns, I connect the dots. And from backtracking, you know. I like it, actually. I'm pretty happy with it because I can expand my brain that way, because I don't need somebody to tell me what they did that day if they let me in their room. I will, like, walk in the room and see that the laundry basket has half of their clothes folded, and I'll be like, oh, so you started folding your clothes, and then you must have had a phone call. But, you know, it's just like detective work. You backtrack because you have to as a dyslexic, because you have to use 5 times the energy just to do something that one person can do with just that one energy, you know? I mean, or on a ratio, it's somebody that doesn't have dyslexia would be on a 1, while somebody with would be on a 5 with the colon in between. And so that gives us that much energy that we condition ourselves to be able to put into everything we do, because we get so used to it, trying to relate to everyone else, or display ourselves as being the same. And there's different kinds. So like I was saying, it's not always letters flipping around. It's not like you can't not read. It's like stuff with bigger picture thinking. Like I can't, like, say somebody give me a box and they're like, guess what's in there? I can't just tell me what's in there. I can't just open the box and tell them. I have to, like, look around the box and be like, what's around that is here and isn't? And then I have to look around, and then I have to do this process of elimination to figure it out. And then look, it's like it's extra step. It's like I have, like, an extra thing I have to do with everything I do. And I hate it, but at the same time, I love it. I don't know. I mean, it's like, I do feel unique, but I also feel like people aren't really liking uniqueness these days, so it's hard. But if it's here, it's for a reason. It's everything we have developed because it was supposed to. Otherwise, whatever formula of life, or whatever life is, like, wouldn't have it to survive. And, like, I'm telling you right now, I don't even know what I'm talking about, but I know that there must be, like, things, the ways people are, there must be a reason for. I just don't know how it led up to that. So I have to backtrack and then think about it, and then, you know, I try to figure it out, and that's what I do with everything and everyone. And I can't be too invasive. Sometimes that's a challenge, but it's just like, that's how I had to go about life. I'm not sure 100% if I'm dyslexic yet. Like, this is just something new that came up, and I'm gonna start therapy for it next week, and or some sort of talk to somebody about it. I don't know. I know how I am too. Like, this is another thing. It's not that I can't change my behavior, but I'm most likely gonna do this, so I gotta prepare my environment for that, so I have a way to fix it. Like, the phone case I have on my phone is super funny, because it's not something I like exactly, but it's the fact that I will forget that I had my phone, and I'll lose it in Uber or something,